All right. Now I want to deal with this video that surfaced, I think, a few days ago. I won't play the video in its entirety at all. Well, I won't play it at all because it will definitely get your video taken down. You're not allowed to show children being hurt on the internet, on YouTube. If you upload it as a media outlet, then it's okay. But it's not okay if it's like a live stream like this. But I think most of you have seen it. Now, I'm going to go through some of the frames. Okay, I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to go through some of the frames just to show you what I'm talking about. This video has sparked a lot of race baiters, a lot of racists and race baiters. They've used this as an opportunity to deny racism, minimize it, how dangerous it is, and just be disrespectful and dumb in general. Now, this is a influencer, a podcaster, Allie Beth Stuckey, a right-winger, conservative Christian, self-identified. Now, I agree and disagree with pretty much everybody on earth. We're going to agree and disagree on some things. So I follow her, and I disagree with this tweet that she made yesterday that went viral. She tweeted this yesterday. Already it has over 2 million views. Now, she's talking about that video where this boy, he looked like he was about 15 or 16 years old, started wailing away on this girl. And the girl is said to be 9 years old. Okay, he's just wailing away on her on the bus, okay, with both fists, hitting this nine-year-old girl repeatedly in the head. She was trying to cover her head, but he was just hitting her repeatedly, okay? And she made this tweet in response to that video, said, how many videos of white kids getting brutally bullied by non-white kids do you need to see before you accept the fact that the biggest problem in our country faces is not white supremacy? The biggest problem our country faces is not white supremacy. That girl was not even white. People, that was not a white girl. That girl was clearly biracial. And at the beginning of this video, that girl was attacking a smaller child, a child smaller than herself. I don't know if that was a boy or a girl. I think it was a boy. That the 9-year-old girl who was beaten up, before that 16-year-old, 15-year-old big guy, before he started beating her up, before he started punching her, she was punching a smaller child repeatedly. And these articles are not even pointing it out. They're not even talking about it. These media outlets, they actually cut off the portion where she's punching attacking this smaller child. Now, don't talk stupid and say I'm justifying nothing. I'm telling the whole story here, because this ain't no race problem. This is not a race. It was flipped into a race problem. just for no reason. It's not even a white girl. And even if it was, you think he wouldn't beat up a black girl like that? If he would beat up a white girl like that? Ultimately, the issue is beating up a little girl. You race baiting goofballs just couldn't help but they love doing this. Now look at this. This is real sinister right here.
And we begin with that attack. The video
now they have it blurred out. But you see where they started it. They started it with him hitting her. Okay?
And this, according to some parents, is not the first or only case of bullying at that school. On top of that, school officials may have failed to act.
CBS 4's Anna McAllister has been on this story all day trying to get to the bottom of what's really going on. She's live in Homestead tonight. And Anna, what have you found out?
Well, Lauren, Elliott, this 9-year-old girl and her 10-year-old brother were both attacked on the school bus when they were leaving Coconut Palm Academy to go home yesterday.
Wait a minute. Now what? Wait a minute.
They were leaving Coconut Palm. This 9-year-old girl. Well, Lauren, Elliott, this 9-year-old girl and her 10-year-old brother were both attacked on the school bus when they were leaving Coconut Palm Academy to go home yesterday.
And her 10-year-old brother?
I also spoke to another mother who tells me her son was bullied so badly that she actually pulled him out of the school.
So once again, they start the video where he's punching on her. They cut out the early part of the video where that girl was punching on a smaller child. A child that was smaller than herself. But they're framing it only as this older child bullying and beating up this 9-year-old, which shouldn't have happened. Just like her attacking this smaller child shouldn't have happened, and she's not even white. You goofy race baiters flipping it into a race issue. This is an issue of parenting. And she's not even white. And millions of goofballs online talking as if she was a white girl.
Riding on a bus from Coconut Palm.
Her mom, I think her mom is on this.
K-8 Academy in Homestead. Emotionally.
That's the mother. The daughter looked like the mother. You can see the daughter in the video. At the beginning of the video, that is her. She has stood up out of her seat. She has stood up out of her seat, walked over to the other side of the bus, and is punching a child that is smaller than herself. And this older kid just beats on her repeatedly. This was a horrible video. Horrible video. About, I mean, if you want to make it about race, this is mainly an issue about black families. Right? This is our business. This ain't got nothing to do with white people, because that wasn't no white girl. What is y'all talking about? And they all over. Hey, let's finish this. I want to finish that media outlet. Okay, so that's her mother.
I couldn't even last 2 seconds. I couldn't look at the video.
What is she? She ain't even speaking English. Wasn't even speaking English. And she tweets, white girl. And throughout the tweet, they're all referring to her as a white girl.
Any mother, I am destroyed. I fell to my knees, and at that moment.
Okay, I'm trying to be real careful not to show the beating.
Be identified as Jenny says her daughter was attacked while riding on the school bus Wednesday afternoon.
Whoa! This she was just attacked out of the blue? Okay.
Her 10-year-old son also pummeled on the same bus ride.
Wait a minute. Who was the child that she was beating up? We don't even hear about that. They don't even talk about that. What is wrong with these people? What is this? Boy, this is bad. This is irresponsible.
Another kid came out of nowhere and hit my son, and he fell to his knees and they started to hit him. Jenny says her kids have only been enrolled in the school for 3 weeks. She reached out to CBS 4 Wednesday to report bullying at the school, only for these incidents involving her.
Oh my, what in the world? Why don't they just deal with the video in its totality? And just talk about, look, what is the problem with these kids? The older kid shouldn't have been beating up the 9-year-old girl. That's a discussion all unto itself. And the 9-year-old girl shouldn't have been beating up that smaller child. That's another discussion all unto itself. Both scenarios shouldn't have happened. How are you turning this into a race issue?
Issues at Coconut Palm Academy.
My son was bullied at that school since the beginning of the school year.
This mother, who wished to remain anonymous, says her son, who's in the 3rd grade, was repeatedly physically bullied by his peers. She tells us she reached out to the school several times, messaging teachers and administrators, only to be ignored or not answered for weeks.
There was an incident during PE, and she said that what happens in PE stays in PE. And that to me was just bewildering.
Things got so bad for this student that his mother says she did the only thing she could do to protect him.
I had to pull my kid out of the school because that school doesn't care about their children.
Following the viral videos of the attack on the school bus, Miami-Dade County Public Schools released a statement that reads in part, Miami-Dade Schools police arrested the offender and they will be charged accordingly. Additionally, those involved will be disciplined according to the Code of Student Conduct. And the mother of the 2 children who were attacked on that school bus tells me that...
Wait a minute. So they're not going to talk about the fact that the woman's children, or at least that 9-year-old girl, was attacking somebody else's child. Why don't we talk to the parent of that other child? And why aren't we questioning the mother of that 9-year-old girl? Why was your daughter up out of her seat? You understand? Because that shows that she was the aggressor. Talk is nothing but talk. When one person get up out their seat and walk over towards you and start throwing punches, you're the aggressor. She was seen on that video being the aggressor, and this was a smaller child. That's unacceptable. This big, burly, 15, 16-year-old looking boy, this dude was massive, coming up, wailing away on this 9-year-old girl, even though she was attacking that other child. That was unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. Now, hey, tackle her or something, but that was far overboard. That was far overboard. And listen, there shouldn't be no need to be tackling no 9-year-old girl. That 9-year-old girl shouldn't be attacking nobody. She learned that at home. That 9-year-old girl learned that at home, to settle her problems by laying hands on people. And you just want to overlook that dysfunctional parenting. That don't show no concern for that girl and her welfare. She might attack the wrong dude someday. What she's doing is dangerous. What is wrong with y'all? Always trying to flip a story into a race or a male versus female. These modern goofballs, man. I took a long break from having to deal with stuff like this. This is why. This is why. So obviously there's an agenda. behind this. Obviously, there's an agenda behind this. You got a bunch of people. Okay, look, that tweet that she made about that video, 2 million views. The subsequent 49,000, the previous 500,000. Okay, so this got a lot of attention. And you go through the tweet and you hear a bunch of people referring to that girl as a white girl. It was not a white girl. And why everybody didn't call her out on race baiting is beyond me. It looked like this girl tried. Bullying is wrong no matter what. Yeah, this is a simple case of bullying and, a misteaching of children. Badly. They've been horribly failed. Yeah, this is a good question. White kids being bullied is the only metric you're using to come to this conclusion? That's another thing I want to point out. Not only did you race bait, did she race bait, she race baited over an issue that's very serious. Don't minimize the importance of white supremacy. Why even bring up white supremacy? Bring up race, period. The girl wasn't even white, even if she was white. Why are you making an attempt to minimize the seriousness of white supremacy? Now, is that what a person who benefits from white supremacy does? That was unnecessary. Okay? This is just total unnecessary animosity that's just whipped up out of thin air. Goofballs talking about this was a white girl or something. Mention the girl wasn't even white. It looked like somebody pointed out she wasn't white. This is a half a tweet or something. Somebody's trying to point it out. Look, it's anti-white hate by our own government. What? What? It's anti-white hate by our own government. What are you talking about? We have a growing black supremacy problem. The girl wasn't even white. They flipped this boy beating up this 9-year-old girl into an issue of black supremacy. Well, if this ain't the race baitiness generation, I don't know what is. Man, I've done a disservice to the community by not dealing with current events. This is ridiculous. How brain dead. I've been talking about something's in the water. Something is dumbing people down. I think it's obvious at this point. Can't y'all tell? There's a dumbness that permeates through the population. And it's strong, man. The bigger problem is these white kids haven't been taught how to defend themselves. The girl wasn't white, you goofball. You flaming goofball. She wasn't white. And why aren't we just talking about the violence in general? Again, a 9-year-old girl, she learned how to fight at home. What's going on at home? Why is a 9-year-old girl at home beating up people? And if she's not beating up people, she's seeing somebody else get beaten up. What's going on at home? Okay, that's the problem. But we're going to forget about trying to help the 9-year-old girl. If you want to help the 9-year-old girl, you got to help her on how to manage her emotions and not go around attacking people. That's dangerous for her. But y'all so goofy, you're willing to let her move on unchecked. With that same attitude, haul off, smack the wrong dude, and then she really get messed up. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people these days? People, we cannot operate like this. And listen, if there are people this dense in the world, look, Black American is trending because of Black History Month. I can already say that. This is bad. I see this as a major problem. Would encourage you have a wider view of white supremacy. This is sad, man. Segregation worked. Listen, there are a lot of crazy people in this world. There are some people who are this dense to make tweets like this, people who whip anything up into a race issue, people who just go on and on about race issues. Don't you think we should have our own state? That way, if you don't want to deal, if you're tired, you're fed up with race, race blaming or whatever you tired of, you can escape it all. You move to an all-white state. We should have that option. My goal is not to try to change your mind. That's not something the everyday Black person does. We're not out here trying, understand what we went through. No, at least I'm not interested in that. Because I understand how people operate. We believe what we really want to believe, ultimately. We know the difference. We know what's right and wrong. I'm not in the business of trying to change people. But everybody has the right, I think, to live in among their own kind. Among their own kind, their own group. I don't see what the big deal is. There is no big deal. And this is not a race issue. And people need to stop. This is pulling the race card right here. For a supposed non-white supremacist, you sure are quick to dismiss it. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, why would you mention white supremacy as if it's a figment of people's imagination? I told you, I don't trust that. I'm uneasy around people like that. Just like I wouldn't view the lack of women's rights or discrimination against women as a petty thing. I wouldn't mention it in a disparaging way like that. I wouldn't minimize its seriousness or, the importance of eradicating it or any other social dysfunction in society. Why would you refer to white supremacy like that? What is this all about? Where people try to project racism and white supremacy as a figment of people's imagination. That needs to stop. That was just a horrible video. And people can't even process it in the right context. When you put a filter of race on it and be wrong about it. It wasn't even a white girl. And again, if it was a white girl, don't you think he'd beat up a black girl the same way? You think he'd see a black girl and be like, oh, my sister? If that 9-year-old black girl attacked I think that was his brother. That smaller child, I think, was the brother of the bigger guy. If that was a black girl attacking his little brother like that, I can guarantee you he would have beat her up as well. So is that a race issue? Is that a race issue, you goofball? Always making something out of nothing. This guy tried to help. Said, I got bullied by plenty of white kids. Just saying. That wasn't the case of bullying. I mean, that was sad. This is disrespectful to the film itself, where you got a chance to fully process what happened and respond accordingly. Instead, you misinterpreted race bait like a bunch of goofballs. Get yourselves in order, man. Out here embarrassing humans in general like this is pathetic. It is pathetic. Lord, see, women like this Allie Beth, she does more to divide people than anybody or anything else. Okay, when you whipping up and making everything about race, they accuse the Democrats of doing that. They do it too. Many of them do it too. Many of the right wingers do it too. Right? So stop it. And I just wanted to get on here and vent about that. You know, this is starting to annoy me. I had to get this off my spirit. These people out here on social media, extremely reckless. Extremely reckless. The world is going crazy. Something is wrong with us, man. We dealing with stupidity it's at an all-time high. We losing our minds. We need to make some power moves in order to get back to where we should be, which is just having good common sense. Because right now, we are just plumb out of our minds. That is all for this live stream. I will see you on the next.